So are we going to talk about the racist dog whistles in Jason Aldean's new song or no?
As you probably heard, Jason Aldean's video for Try That in a Small Town has just been pulled from country music television. And he's out there playing the victim and saying that the video absolutely isn't what it very well is. The video is a message to the Black Lives Matter movement that they'd better stay away from him and his because they got guns and they protect their own. The video features him standing in front of a building that is the famous site of a mob lynching a young 18-year-old black man. And it's got an American flag hanging on it, and it's interspersed with footage from Black Lives Matter protests. What it doesn't have is footage of people who are likely members of his audience attacking the Capitol on January 6th and killing 5 police officers. But it does talk about disrespecting the police, those Black Lives Matter people. So I wish he'd just, own it. If you're gonna sow this division, then own it. And while we're at it, let's send the message out to his wife that being a tomboy as a child is way different than being a transgender child. So when she thanks her parents for not changing her sex when she went through her tomboy phase, she is just sowing division and hate. And it's a shame that this couple, with all of their influence, are using it to do that because they know that sowing division and hate among their people makes them lots of money. So let's not kid ourselves.
All right, guys. So we got to react to this CBS interview featuring Jason Aldean because she is going to confront him on the backlash that he has gotten from his hit song, Try That in a Small Town, which is a song that the race hustlers of America boohoo, whine, and cried about, claiming that he's talking about lynching black people. Even though he doesn't mention anything about black people, what he talks about is protecting his small town from criminals who, loot and steal and destroy, which is what happened during, the BLM protests, the Antifa riots, the Roe v. Wade riots, etc., right? This is what far leftists do. And because the left thinks that all black people are criminals, they automatically interpret it as racist. Well, he must be talking about blacks if he's talking about stopping criminals from being able to loot, rob, steal, and be agents of chaos, right? And the mainstream liberal media went along with it for the most part. And it really is a damn shame that Jason Aldean has to sit down and do interviews like this in the first place to try to explain the meaning of the song, because anybody with any common sense and does not believe that all black people are criminals knows that the song is not racist. It really is a conversation we shouldn't be having in this country, but we are because, again, the race hustling left wants to make anything that they disagree with racist, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this.
Action when you saw people saying that this had racist undertones and, it was like a call to arms, it was like a call to arms in small towns. It was a threatening kind of video for black people. I mean, people were putting this on
but there was people of all color doing stuff in the video. That's what I don't understand. There was white people in there. There was black people. I mean, this video did not shine light on one specific group and say that's the problem. So, and anybody that saw that in the video, then you weren't looking hard enough in the video, is all I can tell you.
And you're racist, okay? Because, again, if you watch that video and your takeaway is that he's talking about lynching blacks, right? Even though he didn't mention anything about black people, okay? He didn't mention anything about lynching. If that's your takeaway, again, that is your problem, right? You're looking at it that way, okay? You're the one that's being racist, not him. It's really that simple.
Genres in the country.
I love the song. I was excited to cut it and thought it was actually a song that said something for a change, not just a, here's another song for radio.
Did you think, well, this might not go over well with some people, but I'm going to say it?
On the second verse, it said gun, and that, will tend to get people talking sometimes about that. So I didn't expect it to get the kind of heat that it got. And I think that was more probably because of the video more so than the actual song.
Part of that heat was because of where the video was filmed, in front of the Murray County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, the site of a 1927 lynching of a black teen.
For anybody that thinks that we picked that building specifically for that reason, because, there was a lynching there or whatever.
Did you know that?
No. But I also don't go back 100 years and check on the history of a place before we go shoot it either.
Facts. Facts. Nobody does that, right? Nobody does that, okay? And for the most part, nobody cares. The only people that care are the people that are trying to make a whole bunch of something out of nothing. Because quite honestly, I'm going to tell you where a lot of this comes from. A lot of this comes from the fact that our lives, just in virtue of the fact that we live in a first world country, right? We live in America. People are too bored, right? They don't have any real things to worry about on a daily basis, like, I don't know, surviving, right? So again, they make up things to be triggered about, right? Oh, God, that courthouse, they used to lynch blacks outside of the courthouse. It must be racist. I mean, it's a dog whistle. It's a dog. And it's like, bro, get a life. Get a life. I'm so serious. I grew up around Confederate monuments, okay? North Carolina is like Confederate monument central, okay? And I've never been offended by one. Never been offended by one. Never, it never affected me personally, right? And honestly, I really didn't like it when people were protesting statues. Like, for example, when I went to UNC, they got mad, the woke mob got mad about the names of buildings and the Silent Sam statue because this is like a Confederate monument or whatever. I was like, this has never affected my life, right? I've never been affected mentally by the presence of a Confederate statue. Because it quite simply doesn't matter to me. I always looked at it as like, oh, well, this is just history, right? This is what happened. This is history. You learn about it, right? You move on with your life, okay? Apparently, that's not the case for some people, right? Apparently not. And again, I grew up around this stuff, right? I grew up around Confederate monuments and I guess, lynching sites, right? All my life, and it's never affected me negatively.
It's also the place that I go get my car tags every year. It's my county that I live in.
Would you do it in that courthouse again, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now, probably not. But it's also, I don't think, again, I'm not going to go back 100 years and check on the history of this building. I mean, because honestly, if you're in the South, you could probably go to any small town courthouse. You're going to be hard pressed to find one that hasn't had some sort of, racial issue over the years at some point. I mean, that's
facts, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, living in the South, again, it's just everywhere you go is going to have some history behind it, right? That might not be pleasant, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Nobody's been affected by it today. People need to move on past this. But again, they can't, right? And I think part of the reason why is because there's so much money in keeping this race conversation going, right? That they can't stop it, right? They have to find ways to say, oh, see, look, the white man's still trying to oppress us, right? He's trying to send signals. There's dog whistles, right? These people, they want to be oppressed, right? They literally want to live in the 1950s. I wish we had a time machine. I wish we had a time machine so that we can send these people back to an era that they so desperately want to be a part of, right? They desperately want to be a part of. I can't wait till we get to the point where we can send people back to the past. Impossible, maybe it's not. So that they can live out their lives in segregation and being real victims and being discriminated against like they so desperately want, right? I wish they could. I really wish they could.
It's just a fact.
Critics also slammed Aldean for the images. Aldean says he didn't choose the specific clips, but the overall look of the video was his idea.
The whole idea behind the video was to show, the lawlessness and the, disrespect for cops and just, trashing cities and burning. I'm just not cool with that. So I don't know. I feel like the narrative really got switched over and became more of a racial type thing. And it's like, if that's what you got out of the song and the video, I mean, I almost kind of feel like that's on you, because that wasn't our intention.
Yeah. So again, you seen that, you heard that. Okay. Anybody with common sense, right, that's not looking at the world through a racialized lens, interpreted that song the way it was meant to be interpreted, right, which was to be an anti-crime song, right, anti-criminal song. But you know what? Again, these leftists, these race hustlers, they support thugs and criminals. So again, that's why they got so triggered, right? Because they don't like law and order. They don't like, criminals actually facing consequences for their actions. And that's why these liberal cities are lawless hellholes that are run by criminals, right? This is what they like. This is what they like to live in. So yeah, I can see why they be so triggered right by that. Boohoo, whining, and crying racism. But again, it's not racist. Again, it's more about law and order, which they really don't believe in. So hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.